Yes, happy Monday. Panther fans, excited. You're getting closer to that opening Sunday. Playing the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
On America's game, 425.
They're going to kill them. It's awesome.
Reminding you tonight, you got Nationals Phillies, 6:30 p.m. pregame here on 252 ESPN Radio. 7 o'clock game start on this Monday. Now, it is time, is it not, for our headlines? We need a second really quickly. We play Panthers though because I think Panthers is where we're going to start, right?
Yes.
With our headlines today, which is good because
they looked awesome.
They do. As much as the Cowboys looked bad,
Panthers are 3-0, baby, preseason. Get hype.
I think a lot of Panther fans are feeling it though.
Yeah, I mean, there should be a lot of talent there. We're gonna talk about it. I'm just trying to wait. Do you want to wait, or you just want to go right into it?
No. I'm waiting on so we can actually officially start the headlines. I have the worst sound effects machine in the history of radio, and I'm sorry about that. The headlines today are brought to you by our good friends at Taqueria San Luis. Taco Tuesdays are every Tuesday. Get out there and enjoy $1.25 tacos and everything they make there. It's made from scratch and is delicious, authentic. It's Taqueria San Luis. Again, 1706 Highway 70, just outside of New Bern, Taqueria San Luis.
By the Associated Press. Cam Newton walked into the interview room, on Friday night sporting a black eye and questioning his own judgment after an unexpected crash landing. The Panthers' 8-year quarterback escaped a potentially serious injury when he scrambled out of the pocket and dove headfirst on a 3rd and 9 play in the first quarter, only to get upended by cornerback Jonathan Jones, causing the 2015 MVP to land on his head. Newton was forced to leave the game to be evaluated for concussion, but returned just 4 plays later and helped lead Carolina to a 25-14 win over the New England Patriots to remain unbeaten in this preseason.
So isolate just that play. Is that, man, come on. What are you doing? It's a preseason game. Can you be okay with punting?
Right.
Can you be okay with just not doing that? Don't be out of the season opener because you went all gung-ho on
Superman.
preseason week 3.
It's the love-hate thing that we have for Cam Newton, right? And he made a really good comment when he said that his running ability is a blessing and a curse, because it is, because it's super great. You know, we love it when Cam takes off, has one of these big runs, picks up 30 yards or walks his way into the end zone. But we also hate it when he doesn't understand, like, hey, just slide. Or, hey, maybe not try to do a front flip over somebody in a preseason game and possibly break your neck. We love it about Cam that he can run so well. We hate it that sometimes he has a little lapse of judgment. And it's like, dude, well, if you had just been lost for the season, then Panthers fans would have been stuck with Garrett Gilbert at quarterback for the rest of the season. And that's no fun.
2 weeks from today, we're expecting to come back here and talk about the Panthers being 1-0, beating the Cowboys, because the Cowboys are going to be awful, et cetera, et cetera. You think Cowboy fans would turn on the radio and
we can
anger?
hammer that point home for the whole entire season. The Cowboys are going to be terrible.
Even if they're 15-1,
they're going to be
eventually.
terrible.
they're going to be terrible. They're going to get to the playoffs and they're going to lose.
15-1. That's what a joke.
So, the bumper we came in on was many years ago. I discovered that every Monday during the NFL season, there'd be a Carolina Panther segment entirely, because we live in North Carolina. The Panthers play every Sunday. You kind of get the point, right? But what we discovered over the summer, or maybe you knew about this before this summer, was that maybe there's a new song that we need to now be, if we commit ourselves to saying, okay, every Monday during the NFL season, we need to have our Carolina Panthers report.
Yeah.
We get together and have a segment where we talk Panthers football. This should be the song we use.
Yes.
As the sort of bumpers to those segments.
So this gentleman's name is Ked Woodley, K-E-D Woodley, Ked Woodley. And he put this song on YouTube in 2015, and he says he wrote this song for all Panthers fans and NFL fans around the world. We hope you enjoy. The song is called Dominate the Foe.
Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth and claws. We growl to win this game. We call pro football. Our offense and defense so intense. Your team will be the losers if you got a lick of sense. You dig the NFL, my lyrics and my rhymes. You eat up what I'm saying, spit and fly hip-hop lines. Lightning fast, big black cats, Panthers kicking ass. Yo, with a TD or a field goal, gonna get that W, dominate the foe. Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth and claws. We growl to win this game. We call pro football. When running, passing, or pitching the ball, we got blazing, mesmerizing plays, y'all. Wanna holler at your top cats who cheer and turn us on. Give me them digits, I'll call you on my phone. Lightning fast, big black cats, Panthers kicking ass. Yo, with a TD or a field goal, gonna get that W, dominate the foe. We Panthers keep pounding, pay lots of dough. Soon to be our victory at the Super Bowl. Let's go, let's go.
That's him doing that growl, by the way. So to paint the scene for you for what this is, this guy, Ked Woodley, has what looks like taken his phone, placed it on the ground, and is standing in front of it in blue jeans, a Black Panthers t-shirt. He's got a Panthers hat on. He's got a mustache. He's got a mullet. Looks like he's probably about 45 years old or so. Big old beer gut. Singing this song right here in the middle of a trailer park, by the way, if you look behind him. So, Panthers fans, I mean, this is a new rallying cry. I don't know how you cannot get pumped up when you hear this.
The drum beat was from like a 1990s, 1980s keyboard, like one of the ones that not a good
Casio,
one,
like
one of the ones you got for Christmas when you were 8 years old. You know, that is the best. Because we have that. We have the sound of the Panther growl. And I'm thinking we should just replace that with that. You know, instead of... So bad. But so good.
That's great, man.
At one point in his song, he is hitting on the cheerleaders.
Yeah. Top cats.
The top cats. We're going to holler at the top cats.
Give me them digits.
While they cheer on. Yes.
Yeah.
Give me them digits. Row, row, row. He also rapped about field goals. He rapped about field goals, which is not something you really want to rap about, right? Field goal is the most uncool. Is it not? So bad. Ked
Woodley.
Woodley.
A legend.
What do you think? Where do you think Ked is at today? Should we try to get Ked on the show?
Oh my gosh. Oh, yes. We absolutely 100% should try to do that.
Has he got an album? You think he's got is this the title track from?
He has a YouTube channel. Let me see if. Oh, okay. Let's see what. Oh, it's his only video.
Down the wormhole we go. Dang it.
Yeah. Man.
How many views did he get on that YouTube?
About 886,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's doing pretty well.
Probably retired on that.
You made a lot of money off of this video?
$4 or $5, I'm sure.
Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth and claws.
Just do it
we
over
proud
and
to win
again.
this game. We call pro football.
Oh, that's so bad.
Panthers are going to be good this year. Look for them. The one thing I noticed, I know we're going to, we talked to Kyle Gaskins a little bit earlier today about some Panther stuff, and everybody loves McCaffrey. And I know this is going to sound stupid coming out of my mouth because I'm an NC State fan. But think about NC State's offense last year. and how you had guys like Jalen Samuels and Nyheim Hines, who it was so easy to split them outside. You're going to see a lot of that with the Panthers this year, where it looks like a very positionless offense, because DJ Moore, obviously a great addition, him and Devin Funchess and Greg Olsen, blah, 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 blah. The key here is going to be Christian McCaffrey and Curtis Samuels. Curtis Samuels had like 50-something yards receiving the other day. He's another guy who can line up in the backfield. That's what he did at Ohio State. You're going to see both Samuels and McCaffrey lining up in the backfield. You can split both of those guys out at any time. Panthers are going to be a crazy offense.
Yes.
By Kevin Seifert, ESPN.com. Flags for the NFL's controversial helmet rule dropped significantly in Week 3 of the preseason, the first set of games after the league issued a narrow clarification of its intent. Overall, penalties for lowering the helmet to initiate contact dropped 64%, according to ESPN Stats and Information Tracking. There were 9 penalties in 16 games in Week 3, an average of 0.56 penalties per game. In the first 2 weeks of the preseason, officials threw 51 flags in 33 games for an average of 1.5 per game. Some more helmet rule stuff.
On the same, we talk about preseason overreaction. Do you think a lot of what we're doing is overreacting to the new rule? I mean, we're basing it all on preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't even seen. And I get we're trying to be proactive and not reactive in this sense. I mean, I'm with you. I don't want to turn on Sunday first week and have 3 games get decided by some ridiculous call.
Right.
But at the same time, is a lot of what's happening just sort of, come on, we're overreacting to some preseason calls.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of what we've been talking about for 2 weeks after the first week, when we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to ruin football. There's going to be flags on every single possession. It's going to completely change the offense for these teams. We overreacted then, and we overreacted in Week 2, and now we're seeing things sort of regress to the mean, right? We don't really have to worry about these rules changing how we watch football so much. I will say, if you're a betting man, the first several weeks of the NFL season, take the over on like every single over-under out there. Take the over, take the over, take the over, because we're still going to get some extra penalties, because they're still going to try to be enforcing these penalties a little bit stricter, and what that's going to end up being is like 60 to 90 extra yards of offense for these teams each and every single week. So hammer the over if you're a betting man, but this is all going to be fine. The rule change, and it's not so much a rule change, but a tweak, and it has nothing to do with the referees, that I loved, and I saw a lot of people didn't love last night during the Sunday Night Football broadcast. Did you see that NBC has started doing the green zone on the field? So whereas before, when the offense is lining up, you've got the yellow line that marks where the first down is. They still have the yellow line, but now the 10 yards to gain or the 8 yards to gain is completely shaded in a different color green than the rest of the field. The rest of the field is the same old light green grass color. It is a dark green in the playing area that is between the line of scrimmage and the first down line to gain.
You like that?
I loved it. I thought it was a really cool look. NFL fans across Twitter, across Facebook seem to hate it. I know NBC has taken the preseason to sort of try these things out. I wish it would stay. I thought it was kind of a cool touch. It's probably something that's going to go, but I don't know if there's a Sunday Night Football game next week or not. I can't imagine they would compete with college football.
No.
But if NBC does this green zone in Week 1, the people are going to flip. Nobody liked it. I loved it. People are going to flip. NFL fans hated it.
I hate to do this, but
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. And go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
all right, this rant is going to be brief, but I have to get this off my chest, especially because I'm an old guy who often gets caught in sounding like the old guy of,
Okay.
I agree without question that the football I watched in the 70s and 80s was a much more brutal football than what I'm watching today. But I am sick of guys my age or older who get on this. They're just legislating all the violence out of football. They're not. Did you see Ryan Shazier? There's been crazy hits, and this penalty thing with everybody is it's turned into this rant. And as I said, I too have been guilty of this. It's going to be 2-hand tag in about 15 years. You know, it might be, but right now it's not. So I'm tired of people because basically when you do that and you won't shut up about it, you're acting like it's 2-hand tag right now. And it's not 2-hand tag right now. So shut up. That's all I really wanted to say. I mean, are you sick of people saying that? Like, I get it. It's not the same game as the 70s and 80s. They're trying to make it safer. Yes. How do you make it safe? Because it's football. I get all of that. But right now, it's still pretty violent sport.
Yeah, no, there's hard hits everywhere. That Bengals-Bills game, as terrible as it was to watch because the Bills just didn't even field a team, it didn't seem like. There were so many hard hits in that game yesterday afternoon. It's just about teaching guys to hit the right way. And to the old man or whoever is acting the way you're describing there, you've got to try to do something to preserve the game, or else this society where we live in, where everybody wants to raise a stink about every little thing, is going to try to legislate out the game. So it's better to get ahead of the curve and try to do something to prevent all these spinal injuries or these head injuries or whatever it is. Look, these people are still getting rocked out there on the football field. It still looks like football to me.
I mean, up until about the 70s, too, boxing could lay claim as being the greatest sport in the world. Do you think, like in the early 1900s, that fighting purists were like, bare knuckle fighting is the way to go? They're legislating the violence out of boxing. That's what that reminds me of. Stop it. It's still pretty violent.
It's still violent.
Pretty violent. So, I mean, again, that was probably one of my briefer rant. I know
but you're right.
You popped your earpiece out like it was going to be oh boy, here we go.
I thought you were going on a green zone rant for me.
Oh no.
I was like, oh no.
I'm fine with a lot of the technologies. People get upset about it. I mean, it's funny when I show you like an old clip, or even anybody that's of a certain age, when you watch old football clips and you're like, whoa, where is the first down marker? Because, for decades, we didn't have that. You just sort of, you had to kind of figure out where the line of scrimmage was and it's why they had that chain gang. Why the whole chain gang is there is so you can figure out where the first down marker is. But nowadays, if you don't have that in your broadcast, people would, what is that?
Yeah, and that's the whole point of it.
The same reaction was going on back in my day when they started this is the line of scrimmage that it's not really on the field, and this is the first down marker. People were, what is that? Oh, these lines on the field? I can't see the football for the graphics, Mr. Artsy guy. Yes, old people ruin everything, don't they?
They actually really, really do.
They do not. Stop that. There's 2 old people in this room right now.
ESPN.com, DeAndre Francois has been chosen as Florida State's starting quarterback for the season opener against Virginia Tech. Coach Willie Taggart announced Monday Francois assumes the starting role once again after tearing the patellar tendon in his left knee in the 2017 season opener against Alabama, thus missing the rest of the season. He beat out James Blackman and redshirt freshman Bailey Hockman for the job. Blackman started 12 games as a true freshman in 2017 after Francois injured his knee and finished with 2,230 yards and 19 touchdowns.
Well, last year, seems like such a crazy year. When I would go back to remember we had the hurricane at the beginning of the year. They didn't play. It seemed like they didn't play a game for a month, and they had the Alabama game, and remember that was super close up until about the late in the third quarter, fourth quarter, and then they fall, and that was the end of Florida State's season. And it was all completely downhill from there. They were losing almost seemed like every week. You had all these rumors about the coach who had one foot out the door, and he did. And so now, and I thought they were going to do the classic, we'll just wait right on up until game time to make a decision. Because, how many times have you seen it?
Right. We're seeing it with Alabama right now. Right.
Just why? Don't tell anybody anything. Well, they'll find out on I was going to say Saturday, but they'll find out on Monday night when we roll the team out.
Yeah, I just don't think this was a quarterback battle that was really even close. James Blackman was not ready at all to be the starting quarterback for Florida State last year, and it showed up on the field. You saw a lot of really raw talent. I also think it's a style thing. You think about what Willie Taggart has done in the two most recent schools he's been at. At Oregon, what was the offense he liked to run? He likes quarterbacks who can take off. When he was at USF, he liked quarterbacks who could take off and run. It's the kind of offense that Willie Taggart likes to run, and James Blackman does not run. He's not a running quarterback. He's a tall, poised pocket quarterback. He can sling it a country mile, but he's still just way too young. Blackman was brought in by Jimbo Fisher to be a project behind DeAndre Francois. Injuries thrust him into the starting role. He performed about as good as you can expect, I think, for a true freshman playing for Florida State, having to deal with the competition that they face every single year. But Francois is the guy. 2 years ago when he was a freshman, he was a superstar. Over 3,300 yards, the fifth highest single season total in school history, DeAndre Francois, as a freshman. Has a full year to recover from that patellar tendon injury. Francois, I think it was a no-brainer. And I think that's probably why we saw the early announcement here.
Yeah, and I think if I were facing Bud Foster's defense, I mean, not only from the athletic standpoint, but maybe from an experience standpoint too, because, I mean, Foster's going to make whoever's the quarterback uncomfortable because that's what he does as a coordinator. But we need to take a break. Let's do that. We'll come back. More of East Carolina Sports Show on your ride home is coming up.